You guys, welcome to AFTERBUZZ. This is Survivor, our special season recap with our favorite guest, Andrea Boehlke. She's here tonight. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Survivor. This is a special season recap. We did this tonight just for you guys because we have an amazing guest here tonight. You guys are all going to be super excited. Andrea Boehlke. She's here with us. Straight off of Survivor.
That applause, love it.
Came from the live finale last night. She's going to answer so many questions for us. If you guys have any questions, make sure to throw them out in the live feed. We're so excited to have you. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. It's
a
lot of fun.
Of course, yeah. We're going to just get an intro. So I'm your host, Paige Bonanno. You guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Paige Bonanno. And where can they find you?
What's up, everybody? I'm Timothy Michael. You can find me on every social media platform at I am Timothy Mike.
And Andrea, do you want to let them know where they can find you as well?
At Andrea Boehlke on all social media platforms. So make sure you get the last name right. It's Boehlke.
Yes.
And you guys know you guys can find me on all social media platforms at Domonique P_ESQ.
Awesome. Well, I mean, you guys, how awesome is this? I know that our fans are probably freaking out right now because
I'm freaking out right now.
I love that you guys are all Survivor fans too. It makes it amazing. Like a super fan.
Yeah, I know. We're like waiting. Like we have so many questions. I mean, obviously you've been a fan favorite for all of your seasons and this season, and everybody loves you. You have the brain, brawn, beauty, and you're here, and we're so excited.
Yes, let's talk about the beauty, by the way, because you are stunning. You are beautiful.
Thank you.
I mean, like, and we'll get to the brain later, but just off the chart, like, you're beautiful.
Thank you. That's very kind.
So yeah, you guys, we're just going to get into basically Andrea's thoughts on the season as a whole, as well as, you know, your gameplay, others' gameplay, and just, you know, get some insight on what I think we can all agree on was an incredible season this season. I mean, it was game changers, and we're very aware of that. So first, Andrea, I guess, I know our fans are just interested in this too, was just how would you compare this season of yours to your previous ones? Like, do you think it was better or worse? And basically, like, just what were your overall thoughts on your gameplay?
I mean, I think it was a better season than my other two. A lot of people give me and my seasons a bad rap because I was Redemption Island, which is not a favorite season. And then a lot of people did not like Survivor Karamoan either. So I think this season was the best of my three for fans to enjoy. This season was really hard on me emotionally. Even though in the edit you didn't really see it, I was having mental breakdowns at all times. But they didn't show it.
Was doing that by herself.
Yes, I know. They showed Aubrey's. They didn't show mine. I was like, yes.
And you're like,
I look good.
I was like, this is great.
Well, it's funny because that's something we always talk about is how much the edit really plays into what we see and what actually goes on the island.
I mean, the character they portray you as.
Right. Are you ever like stunned when you're watching back, like, wow, this didn't happen in order, or wow, I look way different than I thought I was coming across?
Yeah, it's usually really accurate. I mean, it's just a very abridged version. It's like everything kind of crunched into like a time. They only have so much time. But this time I was definitely surprised with how well I came across. Like I said, I thought it was going to be way worse.
Yeah. No, totally. I mean, you did come across great. And first of all, too, we want to say congrats on being one of the players that has made it over 100 days.
Thank you.
That's incredible. I mean, not that many players are able to brag.
The seventh person.
Yeah.
So how many, was it 100 or?
I think I finished on 103. But you have to fact check me. But I'm pretty sure it was 103. Well, the funny thing is, most super fans know my seasons way better than I do. Like, Marina did that, and I was like, oh, I don't. Shoot.
Yeah. And also, did you hesitate at all when they asked you to play again?
I did a little bit because I'm working at People and I have a morning show, and I wasn't sure because look, I love Survivor, but then you have to think about your career and everything, and I don't want to be like just Andrea from Survivor. I want to be Andrea, the host that did Survivor on the side. So I was like, I don't know if this is a good move, but then I just could not sleep at night knowing that I was going to pass up an opportunity like this. And I'm such a fan of the show. I had to do it, and it's like been so worth it. Like, there's no regrets at all.
It's just the best game of all time.
It is. And I was going to ask you about that because a lot of people who do go on Survivor do make it a career. They are career survivors.
Yes.
And going 3 seasons, you are kind of borderlining that. So I was going to ask you if that was one of your, hesitancies about going to the season, because 3 seasons is, 100 days. That's, people will know you as Andrea from Survivor.
Exactly. But the thing is no matter what, people are going to know me as Andrea from Survivor.
Yes.
But there's actually this guy, Rob Cesternino. He was a player. Do you know Rob Cesternino?
Yes,
Rob, yes. He was the one that said, Andrea, I don't don't think you should do it. He's like, what are you thinking?
Really?
Because you're so close to not having to ever talk about Survivor again.
Right.
Because it's been 5 years.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I, and also like I've been, doing well with it's, I'm doing like celebrity interviews, and I don't have to talk about Survivor as much. But then I don't know. I just feel life is so short.
Yeah.
As cliche as it is, I'm like, I don't know, like why not?
And it's something that's so fun. It's like if you love it, why wouldn't you just keep doing it? I mean, not like every
Exactly.
season, but it's great to
And
get
it
out
turned
there.
out to be like totally fine for my career because CBS has been really awesome. They let me host this after show. Like I'm on the season, and I'm also doing red carpet interviews. So it turned out to be really good and present a lot more opportunities. So I don't not regret it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Do you want to let the fans know a little bit what you do exactly for people and where they can find you?
Yeah, so I host a morning show for People, and it's on people.com, and it's at 8:30 and 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And celebrity interviews, kind of a celebrity pop culture show.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really good
When
to
you're
hear.
doing red carpets, do celebrities come up to you and say, "Oh, do they recognize you
There's
as
a
Andrea
lot
from
of,
Survivor?" Yeah.
Maya Boehlke, just interviewed her. She's a huge Survivor fan.
Wow.
Adam Scott's a huge Survivor fan. So sometimes people come in, and then we'll have this little friendship because they like love Survivor. A lot of big
That's
celebrities
great.
love
There
it.
you
Yeah,
go.
it's definitely that repertoire that you're
Yeah.
building with these people, and getting that foot in, especially on a red carpet, is really hard.
Yeah.
But
So
I think
get
it's
it.
really interesting because you really can pivot what you've done with Survivor to do something totally different. I always think about Elizabeth Hasselbeck, and no one now even associates her with Survivor. A lot of people don't even know that she even played Survivor. So I definitely think it's easy to kind of like turn that switch off if it's something that you want to do.
Yeah.
But who doesn't want to throw their hat back in the ring for $1 million?
It's just so fun. That's the thing, $1 million.
why
And
not?
then
How
also,
can you pass that?
yeah, and also you get money as like the
yeah.
farther you
Right,
make it on the
right.
show.
Uh-huh.
I mean, New York's really expensive.
For sure. Speaking about the way that, sometimes you can be portrayed differently on camera and like with the edits and stuff, something that I just want to bring up from last night in the live finale was just, we saw that Culpepper finally had that realization that he was kind of bullying Ty and gets up and like apologized to him. We were kind of just wondering, is Culpepper like that in real life when you're with him on the beach? Or is it just something that it's maybe portrayed a little more harshly than it comes off?
I mean, that all happened. You saw that, and granted, he's starving. He's a big guy. He's not eating a lot. I like Brett Culpepper a lot, but he has a big personality, and he gets that way. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like I felt for him because we've all gone through that, and we've been like really mean to someone we didn't mean to be, and you were just under these circumstances and totally hangry. So I kind of felt for him, and it was so awkward because backstage we're all watching together.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
I know, and I kind of really did feel for Brad in that moment.
Yeah, it's like, honestly, sometimes I feel like you are saying things and you don't even realize that you're saying it, and then you watch it back and you're like, I mean, I guess I wouldn't know because I didn't play Survivor, but I mean, it's like you're watching it and you're probably like, I didn't mean to come off like that. I didn't mean to say that. Like, who is that? I mean, I couldn't imagine being out there for that long.
Yeah, and he's not a bad guy.
Totally.
He can be aggressive, but that's just how he is. And I definitely felt for him.
So I promised Judas 12 that I would ask. So we seen a picture of Culpepper before on the red carpet, and there was no mustache. But on the actual recap last night, he had a mustache, and we were all like, what's going on here? Like, we need to figure out, does he have a mustache, or did he shave it right after?
He shaved it right after. I don't know why. I don't even know why
So
he had the mustache
random.
for the reunion
Right.
because it did not look good.
Right. Thank you.
I
Stranger
said to him,
danger.
I was like, why did you
we
have
were
a
like,
mustache?
oh, who's that man?
No,
Like,
it was weird. It was not a good look.
No,
I think
not.
somebody must have whispered in his ear, like, get it up.
Yeah, probably Monica.
Yeah. Speaking of Culpepper, we saw yesterday in the finale that obviously from our eyes as viewers, he made a huge mistake by taking Sarah to the end. And I guess just from your perspective, Andrea, like, was it so clear? Like, if you had been in Brad's shoes, was it that clear that you shouldn't have taken Sarah to the end?
I think what happened was Brad and Troyzan both thought that the jury was going to be a lot more bitter than they were. And we were kind of bitter, but we still were going to award the person that played the best game. So it was just a wrong move on his part. But he didn't see it like that. And Brad's a little more old school, even though he's played more recently. I feel like he's like, win challenges. If you're the good guy in the end, you're going to win. But that's not where Survivor is right now. You want to reward the people that have the flashy moves and are playing really brilliantly.
Well, because there were so many times when we were saying, or I remember I was saying, don't take Sarah to the end. Don't take Sarah to the end because she will win. And other people were saying, oh, but she screwed everybody over. There's no way she's going to win. So, I mean, it's so back and forth by if people thought that she would actually win by taking it to the end. And I just was thinking, was it that clear? Because to me, it was clear. Don't take her.
To me on the jury, it was so clear because At the beginning of the season, I know Jeff comes and Jeff Probst talks to you and what you think about the other players. And I told him there's one person I do not think can win this game, and that was Brad. Just because I judged him on his first season. I was like, Brad Culpepper can't win this game. I would never vote for him. But if it was Brad, Troyzan, and Ty, after the game that Brad played this season, I would have voted for Brad, which is so crazy. And I'm just shocked that he brought Sarah.
So many people said that Brad would never ever win that season, and I mean he was so close.
But the thing is he saw people like Debbie flip off Sarah from the jury, and I think he just thought everyone. I know.
Oh yeah.
Leave it to Debbie. I just think he thought everyone was so pissed.
Yeah. Well, for you especially, I mean, in your question that we saw that you asked of the 3 finalists was basically you said that you had a dilemma because, you know, Sarah brought so many personal feelings and relationships into this basically, and that like on one side you can respect that, but on another side you don't know if you can feel good about voting for her. So what made you, what influenced your final vote then?
It was so crazy because that final tribal council was very edited, where I looked like I was having an actual mental breakdown. Like, who goes to the final? I was crying. Who goes to the final tribal council as a jury member and has a breakdown and is crying? I was like, of the whole season, that was my most cringe-worthy moment. And I was sitting backstage, like, is this so embarrassing? I was asking my friends, I was asking Aubrey, I'm like, is this really embarrassing? It's like, it's fine. But this is the thing. So they never showed my relationship with Sarah. I was with her since day one. I felt really close to Sarah and Zeke the whole game, even closer than I was with Suri or with Aubrey. But you never saw that. And this is why Sarah's brilliant. She convinced everyone that you were her best friend. I thought Sarah was my actual best friend. And I played Survivor
like, we're gonna hang out?
times. No, I thought she was my best friend. And she also is this Midwestern girl, kind of naive at times, so she was so good. To me, she was a non-factor. And I didn't know she was doing all this behind-the-scenes stuff. I felt really close to Sarah. Another thing, I feel like I can talk about this because she just did interviews and she talked about it, and so did Brad. She swore on her kid the entire game.
To you guys,
yes,
personally,
and you know, you get so close that there you're talking about family, and she like personally she swore on her little kid. So I don't know.
So like, who would do that?
Well, yeah, it's Survivor. So there's the whole there's the whole thing that where everything's game, but because I was so, I was blindsided, and then I just felt like everything was just so kind of gross to me.
Yeah.
And that was the big thing of the final tribal council is Debbie was like, that was too much for Debbie. That was too much for Ozzy. They didn't show this. I feel like it's totally fine that I can talk about this because she just did exit.
Absolutely.
I think like CBS is watching. And
They're like, get her out of here.
I had to wait for her to mention it. Now I feel like it's totally fair game.
Yes.
But they took that out of the season probably to make Sarah come across more likable. And she is a very wonderful mom or whatever. It's Survivor.
Of course.
She lied. Ooh, wow.
I don't know. I was telling them actually last night that's one of the things that really bothers me, and I felt like you said exactly what I was thinking in that tribal council. Like, I feel sick, you know, like on one hand you played a great game, but it's like, did you take it to a whole nother level by bringing a lot of those personal interactions in there? Because I wouldn't have played a game like that.
So you thought that even without knowing the kid thing?
Without knowing the kid thing, I was just like, you took it to another level, because I could tell that she had really forged some serious bonds with people, and I just don't think you take it to that level.
Yeah, so my dilemma was, do I vote for Sarah, who makes me feel kind of just gross about this entire thing, or do I vote for Brad, who
makes you feel gross about this?
Well, like Brad, and in the moment, it was actually really hard for me, and I'm normally not a bitter juror. And my second season, the question was, what kind of animal do you think you played like? Like, that was my question. Like, I'm totally like, cool. Like, outside, you know, I don't take it personally usually. I'm friends with everyone. But this time I was like, man, I don't know what's going on. But if I vote for Brad right now, I'll feel good in the moment. But a year from now when this airs, I won't. Or I vote for Sarah and I feel really gross about it right now. But then a year from now, I know I voted for the right person.
Right.
I feel like at the beginning, when we went in, though, to the jury asking questions to these three, it wasn't so clear if everybody was going to vote for Sarah or not. But I feel like she made such a good argument at the end, saying, like, it kind of put it in perspective about why she did all that manipulating and lying, saying, I have to do this in my personal life as a cop to save my life. And, like, I literally did that in the game to save my life. And that's the part for me where I was like, okay, it's not as bad as I thought.
Yeah.
But it's funny, though, because people get so mad at other people for doing that. And then when, just by just having a good explanation about it, then all of a sudden it's okay.
Right.
It's like you're willing to do whatever it takes. But, I mean, it's $1 million. It's Survivor. Like, what do you expect?
Yeah, and then just speaking on that, like that last jury question from you, just being gross or feeling gross about, you know, how the way that Sarah played her game. You played with Boston Rob and, you know, Cochran. You played with all these iconic players who have done more conniving things than Sarah has. And just speaking of the Boston Rob thing, how why did it matter to you so much that Sarah played this game? Was it because of the personal relationship that she built with you, that maybe another player who maybe played more of like a hardcore game than she did, maybe that was a factor in the way that you were like, I feel gross about it, but if it was another player that didn't form a personal relationship with me, I'd be like, whatever.
That's why it's really tricky, because I was totally blindsided by Cochran, who I felt was a friend, and by Boston Rob, but I still was totally cool to vote for them. I don't know if it really just was Sarah just took it to that next level with the swearing on the kid. I'm not sure exactly what it was. Another thing that happened, and it's all kind of skewed because you're playing this game and then all of a sudden reality gets a little fuzzy, but when Suri came out of the game, she told me that Sarah was bashing me, being like, I never liked her, like F her. Which, look, but now Suri could have been embellishing, but in the moment, you're taking an emotional human that just got blindsided, voted out with the fourth time. Because don't forget, I got voted out twice on one season. So here I'm a guardian in a very vulnerable state, and then I get told that Sarah never even liked me in the first place.
You're like,
this is someone that I thought was my actual best friend. I still probably think she's my best friend. And so I was like, she never even liked me. And I'm like, this is terrible. And so I didn't even, to this day, who knows if Sarah was bashing me or not, and who even cares?
Yes.
I just think I was in like a very emotional state, so that even stung even more.
Well, I love too how it's like you guys just say stuff about each other, and like
So bad.
with Zeke, I'm still laughing about this. Like, see you never. Like, I hope I see you never. You know. And it's just like you guys were just laughing about it later. Like, we're fighting. Like, best friends again. You know, it's a game, and people like sometimes just get so like mad about things like that. Especially even fans. Like, and it's like. It's okay. You know, it's a game.
Relax, everybody chill.
What did you think about Troyzan's final speech? Do you think he should have
really
kind of stepped up his game a little bit? Or do you think that, hey, he did what he could? I mean, he didn't really have much left to give.
Yeah, the thing about Troyzan, and I love Troyzan, is that I think he thought people would see him as that he actually made these moves early on. And to this day, he claims that he made those moves.
Yeah.
But it's just hard because if you make moves in a group, everyone thought that Brad made the moves and Troyzan was following along. I don't know what exactly. I think that's all Troyzan could do in that moment at Final Tribal Council.
Well, and that's another thing though, because Troyzan kind of pointed that out in the last, jury thing. That was the choice that he made, and can we really knock him for making that choice, for riding other people's coattails to get to the finals instead of making these bold moves to get to the finals? It's like, if you're a jury member, do you think that Survivor will ever go back to a point where you could look at somebody who just rode coattails to get to the end as their strategy and reward them that $1 million?
I don't think we can go back to that. I don't think so. But I think the thing about Troyzan did have a good argument that Brad was making the bolder move, so then maybe he had a bigger target on his back, so Troyzan was kind of sitting back. So if Brad was taken out, then all of a sudden Troyzan might be the guy.
It's true.
But
I just thought like we obviously didn't see all the questions that were asked or anything like that, but like just his final little speech saying, you guys, I had a great time. I've always wanted to do Survivor, and like I'm out. Like he kind of knew at that point, like it's between Sarah and Brad. I'm not getting any votes.
Which I thought was very sweet, and he's such a super fan. So I think that he sometimes people I think have a hard time when they get to the end, don't get any votes. But Troyzan is just happy to be a part of it.
Happy to be there.
I love him.
Yeah,
I do wish that we had an opportunity to see some more of the unraw like footage from Survivor, just because I feel like we missed so much of that. I think I probably said that a million times this season, that I felt like we would get to tribal and I was just missing pieces. Like the votes just didn't make any sense. And especially yours. I was just
like a 2-minute.
This is really a conversation. Like I'm confused.
I was gone like that.
Literally. Like,
bye. So much build up. I was so much build up. Andrew's doing really well, winning challenges, and then all of a sudden I'm just gone.
We were like, you started winning all those immunity challenges. We were like, damn, like she's going.
Everyone finally got all on the Andrea train, and then all of a sudden Andrew's like poof.
And we were like, what
at one point, we're gonna be honest with you, we were like, Haley and Andrea, which one's which? And then all of a sudden you started coming out of nowhere, and we were like, oh, Andrea's a force to be reckoned with. She's gonna get it. And then, like you said, you were gone.
Just gone.
Speaking of the day you went home on day 33, so you were pushing for Sarah to go.
I was.
And basically, do you think that this would have been different if you hadn't pushed for her? I only ask because, like, it seems like a particular person isn't targeted at all. until they start throwing a name out there, and all of a sudden it's like everybody flips. Is that really what it's like, or are we just not seeing what's going on?
This season was very interesting because if you would put a name out there, all of a sudden you were targeted. So Sierra, who's voted off first, she started putting names out. She's gone. And my problem was when I got to merge, I was so hungry to finally do something. So I started throwing out Sierra's name, the other Sierra, and Brad's name, and then that's when Zeke totally flipped on me. So I think by Zeke putting that target on me, since it was just a great excuse for anyone to always target me, and then it didn't help that I was winning immunities.
Yeah, that's a great point.
So I think this is why I can totally rest easy. Is that I think if I would have pushed, if I wouldn't have said anything about Sarah, I think I was going home anyway. Because Sarah even told me that she would, and I had no idea because I thought we were best friends. She said that she would wake up every morning and tell the producers, okay, if Andrea loses, she's gone, because she just saw me as this threat. But I'm wondering if Zeke never did that and threw my name out at merge, if people would have saw me as this threat.
That's a great point, and I've never really thought about Zeke just not throwing your name out that one time.
I think
because it is true. Right after that, you started winning immunities. You started really like
the seed was planted.
The seed was planted.
Totally.
Oh my god!
Because all of a sudden you would see someone like Debbie, who I don't even think she had watched my seasons. And then in pre-game interviews, there was this thing that Dalton Ross from EW would have everyone do. They built someone out hypothetically, and like, I voted out Tony because he won and he's found all these idols. He's brilliant. Her vote was Andrea because this is Survivor, not a Playboy shoot.
Wait, who did I?
Debbie. What? So, and no, I loved it. I was like, I'm obsessed with Debbie, and I loved it because she doesn't know me, and that I'm actually like really rough and tough and like great outdoors. So I thought it was brilliant and funny, but it just shows that Debbie didn't know who I was. Then all of a sudden you see Debbie saying, "Oh, Andrea's the biggest strategic and physical threat out here," and I'm like, where are you getting that from? It's because Zeke threw my name out, and then it's this group think mentality.
So 2 questions that we just got from our live chat. So thank you guys for tuning in on a special night tonight. One, you just mentioned that you really did feel like you and Sarah were best friends. Who are you still close with out of the 3 seasons that you've played?
Okay, so I usually find my 1 or 2 people, because it's hard to keep up with everyone. Right. And just in real life too. Aubrey from this season, because they didn't show Aubrey at all. But Aubrey and I got really close at the end, and you saw us talking about getting Sarah out. And I call it my 3rd showmance of my Survivor career because I was obsessed with her. I would have done anything for her. So yeah, I thought Sarah was my best friend until I met Aubrey. and then to this day I'm like, that's why Sarah voted me out, because she's just jealous.
She was jealous. That's why she voted on Michaela.
Yeah, I know. But I really liked Aubrey. We were starting to really get in this rhythm, and we were so on to Sarah, and it felt like it was cut too short. But yeah, definitely Aubrey. And then John Cochran from my 2nd season. We just hung out today, went to the Grove.
Nice.
Because he's writing for your shows out here, and he lives out here, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's been like doing really well with that. I love him. And then for my 1st season, Natalie Tenorelli a little bit, and Boston Rob would text me this season saying he was really proud of me. It's always like nice to get props from him.
Of course.
So do you watch Survivor with your whole family, your friends, like, or is it something that you like to do by yourself because you don't want to watch with other people, or what do you think?
Well, this season I did that after show for people, so we had a live studio audience in New York with super fans, so it was a lot. But luckily I got to watch the episode a little early, a screener, because we had to produce this whole show. And that was, oh my gosh, it was really, I had a lot of anxiety watching. Preferably like watching with family and friends where you can laugh about it. I don't think I would watch it by myself because it's kind of depressing. Just myself with like a bottle of vodka.
I'm crying on camera.
I don't think you guys realize how anxious people get, because you don't get to see these episodes beforehand, and it's all in the hands of the editors and the producers and what they want to do with you.
That's true. Like, you could be portrayed completely 100% different.
Just we all have different sides of our personality.
And you're saying so much to the camera. Much to the camera. They could just chop it.
You're filmed 24/7. Exactly.
Oh my gosh. What would you say was your favorite memory from this season? Do you have one in particular?
I would definitely seeing my mom out there, because she is the whole reason I applied. She's a huge fan. She had applied before, and then she didn't get on the show, neither did my dad, but then I got on, so that was a whole nice full circle moment.
I actually had to ask you this because when your mom came on, Linda, right? Yeah, when she came on for the Family Reward Challenge, and she brought up your sister who had passed away when you were in high school, and then you literally went home 2 votes like after that, 2 tribals after that. Do you think that the jury sent you home over Brad because they thought that you would have these sympathy points with the jury? Do you think that was ever a factor in their minds?
Maybe it added to it, but I think at that point I was already such a threat, and so it didn't help my case. Yeah.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah, I know. It didn't. I know, and she felt so bad for bringing that up, but I get what she means because my sister Jerry, who passed away, was like the whole reason. My mom applied, and then kind of the reason I applied, and so it was this kind of cool, kind of full circle thing.
That's amazing.
And that's one thing that I love about Survivor is that it pushes you out of your comfort zones and it brings all of these people together in just these crazy ways.
You kind of see it with Adam from last season, from Millennials versus Gen X,
Yeah.
his
Absolutely.
mom and that
Yeah.
whole story.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's really like, Survivor's such a family show,
is.
and
It
like
is.
it brings, I don't know, it brings our family closer together because everyone watches and you stop fighting for a second. Like, you're like, let's watch Survivor.
All the Trump supporters are like on the same page as you for once. And then as soon as the show's up, you're like, great.
exactly.
I mean, I cry every time I watch Survivor. I'm not even out there. Like every time we're watching, I'm like, oh my
We've
god.
had so many moments where we've started the show like, okay, Dominique needs a moment.
That's why, like, when you were crying at the final tribal, I was like, it was not weird to me at all. I'm like, yeah, I would have been feeling that same way.
It's so funny that you guys feel that way
Oh, I
because
didn't think
I was so cringing.
Really?
And I was so
What?
nervous to check my Twitter mentions.
I didn't think of that at all.
I'm like, oh my gosh, people are gonna be like, you're so bitter.
I thought it
Andrew,
was-
you're so
honestly,
emotional.
like,
I didn't get a lot of hate
didn't-
at all.
yeah, no,
So I was like,
no.
oh, okay.
No.
I guess people got it.
No.
I thought it was-
I feel so much
it was
better
sweet.
now.
It was
and
sweet.
It was a fair question. I mean, you had every right to feel that way.
It
And it
showed
wasn't
that
like a bitter
yeah.
thing. You know who was bitter that I felt? Ozzy. Ozzy was
Oh,
salty this season.
I know.
What
He
was it?
was.
I
I
He
know.
was a little
He
salty.
was so salty.
But
this
I think
season.
too, it's his 4th time.
Oh, and he's still not making
and
it.
still not.
Poor Ozzy. I love Ozzy.
right now.
I know, but he's just he is a big threat. It's just
I think
hard.
at this point you give it up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But anyways,
yeah.
I thought it was very endearing and it showed your soul
It
like
was.
that you actually like very care
You
care
really
about this game and
cared.
care about the people and being it's like you're a real person. You're not just like some conniving person on TV.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
everybody else we see on Survivor.
Yeah.
These, like as Aubrey put it, these crazy psychos that
Oh
I
my
have to
gosh,
talk to
it's
now.
so funny.
But this is great. Do you guys
Yeah.
have any other
I have a lot of questions.
So
Yeah.
another question from live chat is: we are all obsessed with the challenges. We feel like they should like make a theme park. We would go.
Yes.
What has been your difficult, most hard challenges to get through so far?
Oh, to get through. Well, the ones that the endurance challenges are the hardest, but that's the one, those I excel in those.
Yeah.
You do.
So I'm very stubborn, and I'm very. If it's something where it's like you gotta stand here and be in a lot of pain, I love it because I'll just do like crazy things. I'll be like, all right, just like pretend, like think about dying. Like I'll just like go to really like dark places. Or this one was actually really hard. So there was this challenge in my 2nd season where. They've done it a few times. There's this grate, and you're underneath, and you're in the water. So there's this grate, and you are it's head up, and then as the water, as the tide rises,
Yes.
all of a sudden you have less air.
debris,
Yeah.
yeah.
And all of a sudden it goes up until the water goes over your face. So it's pretty much just then at the end who can hold their breath for the longest or have some weird
I would
contraption.
hate that.
Oh, yeah.
So I made it really far, and it was me versus Brenda. And honestly, my strategy was, Andrea, now if you like pass out or like drown, like they're gonna save you. I was
It's fine.
And so yeah, I was like, actually, like that was my plan.
Zero
and, like,
dark
and like
30,
it'll be like
just-
really good TV too. Like if you actually like, drown, if you like
God.
drown and then you're like brought back to
Yeah.
life. And I,
She's alive.
alive.
but because they're not gonna let you die.
Yeah, of course not.
So then the water did come over my mouth, and I couldn't. And I was like, I kept just like trying to get the air. It was really painful. Oh, it was horrible.
God.
I actually have to bring this up now that you brought up Brenda and Karen Moen. Karen Moen was one of these like amazing seasons for me because it portrayed one of the like craziest moments when Dawn and the whole tea thing, and then wound up voting out, you know, Brenda because who found them, and Dawn was like, oh, I'm gonna quit the show if I don't find them, whatever. How did you react to that as a jury member, just that whole scenario? Because I just remember sitting on my couch going, how do you vote out somebody who literally just saved your gameplay?
Yeah, I was probably just drunk with Malcolm
I'm
Ponderosa.
I just had like,
I was
I think
I was like probably buzzed watching like this is awesome. Well, the thing is you as much as you still kind of like the drama. Like,
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
was
of
crazy
course.
though.
Yeah.
To think about, I mean, I get why Brenda was like, so pissed about that. But then, of course, she took it to another level with the tea thing, and I mean that season got a little dark too.
It was messy. It was a little messy.
Yeah,
I love the messier, the better. I'm always
See,
like,
but people love the messy. Yeah,
You do love the messier the
Yeah.
better. But then, and then you're like, I'm never doing Survivor again because she can't stand it, but she loves it.
It's a lot. It's a roller coaster.
Oh my gosh. Andrea, it's been so great having you. Is there any other questions in the live chat that we want to get to before we do closing, or is anybody else?
Would
have
you
anything that they really wanna
recommend
ask?
anyone actually going out for Survivor?
Would I recommend it? Of course.
Yeah.
No, I don't think you should.
No, because I'm going back
A
again.
lot of people feel like they either don't like their edit or it was too gruesome, like on their
Well,
body.
You're right. I should take the question seriously. Who was it? No, I know. Who is it? I'm gonna give you an apology. What's his name?
Dalen.
Dalen. No, it's a serious question. No, it's actually it depends. If you think you're not going to be cut out for this, or if you know you have a personality that might not translate well on TV, if people around you say you're hard to deal with, you have
Dom, that
anger
means that you can't go.
issues,
Dom, no, go
if
on.
you get hangry just living in real life, maybe don't do it. But it really is an amazing challenge for you. You push yourself. You feel stronger than you. Once you get off it, you're like, wow, I can't believe I did that.
Yeah.
So it's so corny, but I'll be doing something hard or even like a hard workout. I'm like, I can do it. I did Survivor. Like, you feel it. It's really a big
There's
accomplishment.
nothing I can't do.
No,
Yeah.
it's true.
Yeah.
Because you honestly feel like you want to quit out there. You're like, I can't quit. I'm on TV, and also it's just such a disappointment and so lame.
Yeah.
You quit.
Yeah.
But you
Yeah.
feel that worn down by all the elements.
Absolutely.
But I would recommend it to anyone, especially if you like the show. Why not just try and push yourself?
Maybe.
Yeah. That's a great, that's a great one. And also really quick, I know we're running out of time, but this is something our viewers and we always have a discussion with, and it's not that big of a deal, but for some reason it's a big deal at AFTERBUZZ.
say.
Yep.
When you are playing in the challenges, do you go shoes or no shoes?
This is a really
And
big
why?
debate.
It's really interesting that, wait,
Constantly.
what do they think? Is there an argument?
Shoes sometimes.
We have had polls, and we are 50-50 because we're always just like, well, it depends.
It depends on the challenge, but some people say
there's
always go
sand,
shoes. Some people say never
is it
go
just
shoes.
water.
I'm trying to think what I did. I think usually for balancing, I did no shoes. I would have
okay.
to actually look back. This is where the super fans are much better than
They're gonna be like, oh,
Actually,
Andrea wore shoes in the
No,
challenge.
they probably would. Also, like my wiki feet rating is really good. It's
Oh.
there's like so many.
Let's pull that up.
No, it's funny. Like CBS tweeted this picture. It was like of me on the pole challenge where my feet were just barely hanging on. And I was like, oh, this is how you feel when you're watching some lame tweet they did.
Yeah.
And it was my foot. And like my toes.
You're
Like,
like,
I have like a non-existent baby toe. And like the official CBS tweeted this out. I'm like,
Like, rude.
like thank you for tweeting my little weird
And you're like,
baby
I need a
toe
manicure at
out.
this point.
I was like, this is gonna be really bad for my wiki feet rating.
That is so funny.
But it seems like in the water challenges,
Yeah.
it's like always half and half. And it's like, would your feet get way down in the water?
No, it's actually, I think when I'm out there, I never know. So I try to look at what everyone else is
Okay.
doing.
Okay.
Because sometimes with a good shoe, you have more of, you're grounded. So I think it depends.
Gosh.
I honestly think I should go back and now watch.
now I have
Yes.
like a
Can you
million
please
more
tweet at
questions
us and
about
let us know every
shoes.
time?
I
episode
think
if you
I
wore
was.
shoes
I
or
think
not.
I was barefoot for a lot of the balance ones.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's good.
Okay,
yeah.
follow up to that. Do you do any type of prep at this point when you know you're going back out to play Survivor?
I do. I definitely try to get in really good physical shape and just do. I also start doing like crazy boot camp kind of things. And then Sudoku puzzles, the whole thing.
That's a good point.
That is a good point.
I would fail at all spelling.
You'd be like,
Metamorphosis?
words,
Yeah.
like word scrambles, like that whole thing.
Do you think doing those Sudoku puzzles and stuff help
Oh
you?
yeah, I think so. Also,
you
too,
go,
like
guys.
for this third season, I didn't have to use this, but I realized I don't even know how to do a slide puzzle.
Oh, okay.
And so I'm like, why don't I know? I've played Survivor a few times, so I just taught myself how to do a slide puzzle, and then other things like that.
What about making fire?
Yeah, I can't make fire without a flint.
Yeah. Is that something you would try to practice?
Without
Like
a
in your
flint.
New York apartment?
No, because
the whole thing would go over place so small.
Whole
the
thing
thing
on the
is,
news.
someone's going to be able to do it. If not, you're all going to be struggling. And I always feel if you're all just totally suffering, I'm still going to be better off than the person next to me because I'm
Yeah.
really competitive and I'll be fine.
Yeah.
Like if they're all suffering and I'm suffering, it's totally fine. But you always just kind of bank on someone.
Someone
knowing
being
how
able to do it.
But with flints, I can definitely make fire with flints.
Okay.
But I did practice in my apartment.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
On the roof or in the apartment?
On the roof.
Okay.
Yeah.
Guys.
I'm like, damn, you're really pushing it here.
Yeah.
You're really serious about Survivor.
Yeah. Would you do a season 4?
That was my next question.
Was it? That's
Yeah.
because we're so in sync.
After I got off this season, I had no idea that the reception was going to be so great from fans. So I thought like nobody would even want to ever see me again because it was like I did 3 seasons, it's fine. And then I had like a lot of fans being like, "Oh, you have to play again." I'm like, wait, really? Like, you guys actually want to see me again?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
That's great.
Maybe. The thing is right now I'm not thinking about it. I need to chill for a little bit. But I would consider it, see where I'm at in a few years.
Yeah.
Well, as an outsider looking in, do you like it when Survivor brings back past people, or do you like it when it's like a whole new fresh set of faces?
That's a really good question. I think I do like new faces, but then, well, this is the thing, is I think when they bring back people, I think all Survivor contestants get like this, there's a little bit of FOMO. So, like, second chances. You're like, oh, wow, Kelly Wentworth's doing
Wow, I didn't
really
think
good.
anything.
Yeah.
I love Kelly.
Yeah, I know, I love Kelly too. But there's like the little bit of like, oh, are they the new me? And then now they're playing 2 times. I'm not super like that because I'm not a very like jealous type, but there is like FOMO of like, oh man, yeah, like they're playing again. Oh, I want to play again.
Well, those are their Survivor career people.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, but when I mean at this point, let's be real. Let's be real. Like, oh, those people. Like one of 7 people that made 100 days.
I'm choking. You guys have
Right.
But because but I think I like either. Yeah.
Honestly, though, like I would take Game Changers over Second Chance any day. I mean, how did it
Really?
how did it feel to be classified as a Game Changer?
Right?
Like, okay, you guys, let's be real. Maybe after
let's
this,
be real.
let's be real. When Jeff told us that was a season, I barely considered myself a game changer, and I looked around and I'm like, okay, something's off here. No, but really though, there are a lot of people. That was the big question, like why is so and so, why is so and so. But I really think that this season, a lot of people proved themselves and stepped up to the plate. Even someone like Sierra Dawn Thomas. You know, everyone totally. They were so rude about her coming back because she was a last-minute addition instead of Natalie.
Right.
But I think she really stepped up to the plate, and for a while there, she was running the table. The new sheriff in town, like she really was.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Like she would be telling people, she'd be sitting in the hammock, telling you how to vote. And at that point, I didn't have numbers. I was like, oh my gosh. I'm like really listening to Sierra. I'm like, all right,
That seems so long ago.
It
Right?
does seem like
It
forever
seems really
ago.
long ago. And it was over a year since you've been out there.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Isn't that crazy, guys? We just watched this yesterday and now it's been over a year.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's how TV works.
Yeah, that's how it works. We're running out of time, so we're gonna wrap up shortly. If there's anything else we want to say, any final questions, or do we feel like we've gotten as much as we need to get?
I don't know. Is there anything in the live chat now?
Or is there anything you want to add?
They
Anna?
all
Is there
love
anything
you.
Want to like?
I don't
We
know.
love
Oh,
you.
well, what is your favorite part about the reunion? I mean, I know I didn't get to a question. Which I was
Yeah,
really
it was like,
upset
yeah,
about.
and you look great in that dress, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I
well,
was
this
like-
is the thing. I was not expecting a question because any beef I had on the season was with Zeke because that was a whole storyline.
Yep.
But clearly there was a bigger storyline with Zeke. So
Right.
I
Yeah.
wasn't going to be getting a question of me and Zeke because that was, obviously totally trumped. But I don't know what my question would have even been.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, you were good at challenges, Andrea. Did you know you were a threat? And I'm like, yeah. So it was kind of, I didn't have a lot of drama, so I was totally fine. I mean, it would have been nice. But
Yeah.
what can you do? Those things are always so fast.
Oh,
Yeah.
Did you guys have a favorite part of the reunion?
Favorite part? I honestly liked when Culpepper apologized to Ty. It just
Yeah.
kind of gave me Tom's shaking her head, but it kind of just gave me like more of an insight into Brad, I thought.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I was so back and forth with Brad all season. Did I like him? Did I not? But like seeing these like emotional, like raw moments from Brad just make me realize that he's a real person.
Yeah.
And I like that.
Really enjoyed Cerie's moments in these last couple of episodes, and especially during the finale and the reunion show, just because I didn't really look at her as a game changer. Like, if I was in that room with you guys, I would be looking around like,
At Cerie?
I know. Just
He always
in this-
says
Wait,
that. Everybody
what?
gets really
Are
mad.
you
That's a
insane?
Not based on her past seasons, just this season. If we were just looking at this season,
Yeah,
alone,
but
she
she's
really
totally a
doesn't-
game changer more than anyone, almost anyone
But-
else
oh,
on
yeah,
the
but
cast.
with this season, I was like, I didn't really get any game-changing moves from her. So I was like, to be on the season of game changers and not make any game-changing moves, I was like, come on, Suri, like, let's get with it.
Okay, I see
So
what
I
you
kind of
mean.
like lost a little bit of respect for her in that point. But until the last kind of final moments, I was in final episodes in that reunion, I was like, okay, I'm back on the Suri train.
Okay, you meant on this season.
Yes.
Because going into the season, okay.
Yeah.
People get
No,
really
let's not
mad.
You
debate
lost
her
all
other
credibility.
You're like,
series.
get off the panel.
No, let me clarify.
People get really antsy when we bring that up because obviously Surie's a game changer, but it's just from this season we didn't think that we got as much from her as we would have loved to get.
Yeah.
So everyone
But
is
she's always
dying
gonna be
to
a
know
game changer.
what we all think, because I don't think we really talked about it last night. They want to know what we think about the new theme for the next Survivor.
Yeah.
Wait, what is it? Heroes versus
Healers
Hustlers
versus Hustlers.
Yeah.
Probably all tongue tied.
Rolls off the tongue.
Right?
Yeah, rolls off the tongue.
Triple H taking it
that
back to
3 times
WWF.
I think it's interesting. I think it'll be like you were saying about, do we like seeing old players or do we like seeing new players? I think it's like a perfect it's good balance. You want to see new people, but then you love seeing those old seasons every so often.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be interesting, like Brain versus Brawn versus Beauty,
I think it's
Healers
gonna be-
versus
Well,
Hustlers.
that's the thing. I hated that season.
you
so
did, really?
I did, and so I'm just like, I hope they kind of give me another twist on
times?
top of it. I hated the last time they
Really?
did it. Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know. I liked it.
I actually kind of
I
liked
like
it.
it.
Yeah.
I loved Blue Collar.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Well, no, I like that too. I really like the Beauty versus Brain because then you always remember, oh, they're Brain. But the Healers versus Hustlers versus Heroes make it confusing.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
And it's
like
like
all three.
Heroes and Healers, and then it's like Hustlers. Like it's like
Yeah.
doctors and firefighters
Well, this is
and
but the funny thing
personal
is, but yeah, but the Hustlers.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, Hustlers, I can't wait. And then Hustlers, it was personal assistant and bellhop.
And,
I was like,
and it's also like obviously the heroes and the healers are hustlers too, because they've been working their ass off to go through school and be doctors and be like.
And how do we know that Bellhop hasn't performed some CPR on somebody in that hotel? Like, he could have been a hero at some point.
Even though that
Exactly.
guy, do you remember his name? Was it Matt? Am I making that up?
I don't remember.
I really liked that promo though. I don't know if maybe it was Matt, Mike, something.
With his
the
little
bellhop.
evil stare?
Oh my! I'm
Wait, the guy that was like skinny.
I
He's
was
like,
so
oh,
skinny. He's so skinny. No, I'm excited
he's like,
for
I'm
him.
single.
He looks
That
like
got
a
me.
killer.
Yeah. No, my gosh.
Like Lifetime movie killer.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
No, I'm really excited for him. I think it's going to be a good season.
I'm scared for his life if he goes more than 14 days. If he's only 125 pounds, like he's gonna be
tiny.
He's gonna be like
125 pounds?
yeah.
Yes.
He's going to be.
Like,
Yeah, he's going to go
after
up.
14 days, he's gonna be
Like
like
100 pounds.
Yeah.
I know.
Oh my gosh. Well, next season is obviously sure to be interesting.
I don't know which one would you guys be though? Hero, hustler, or
Well, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a
physical therapist.
I'm not a physical therapist, so I guess I'll be a hustler.
We live in LA. We're hustlers.
Yeah, we have no other choice.
oh, what do you
you're
think?
a lawyer.
Yeah.
I feel like you could drop me in either and I'd be cool.
Yeah.
And
What would you be?
Andrea?
Well, I don't really fit. I guess hustler.
Yeah, you'd totally be a hustler.
We're all hustlers.
Yeah.
You guys just want to be hustlers.
We're like wannabe hustlers.
I wish I could be a hero. I wish I could be a healer. I don't have those kind of
Yeah,
skills.
that's true. I don't have
unfortunately.
patience to be a healer.
No. Who are the healers?
The physical therapist and
doctor.
the doctor.
Oh gosh. Well, it's going to be interesting. If you're
Yeah.
ever back in LA, we would love to have you on a
I
panel
would love to, yeah. I would love
next
to.
season, and
Yeah.
we can discuss everything with you
Can't wait.
next season. But yeah, is there anything you want to add before we wrap up?
I think that's it. Well, thank you
Yeah.
guys
Great.
so much.
Thank you
It was
so
fun.
much.
Like,
It was
thank
awesome
you.
meeting
The
you.
fans were really great. Like, I tried to be self-deprecating on social media because that's the hardest part for me is watching back, and then it's just you guys know how it is, getting like hate tweets. But actually, fans were really nice this season.
That's great.
So yeah, like shout out to the fans.
Absolutely.
It was really fun. I had a lot of fun like watching with everybody.
Good. Well, that's great to hear. Well, thank you again so
Thank
much for
you.
joining us. And Andrea, just want to let them know where they can find you.
Yes, at Andrea Boehlke, Boehlke.
Yeah.
Gotta spell it every time.
So bad. I gotta get married soon. I'm gonna like fix that.
And Dom, where can they find you?
You guys can find me on all social media platforms at DomoniqueP_ESQ.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. Timothy Michael here. You can find me on all social media platforms at I am Timothy Mike.
And I'm your host, Paige Bonanno. You guys can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, all social media at Paige Bonanno. And we will see you guys right here next season for Survivor on AfterBuzz TV.
Bye, guys.
Thanks so much.
Bye, guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.